Jabir visits Karbala whilst old and blind. Grief grips his heart and sorrow torments his mind. He hears a man digging who does and alone weeps Imam Sajjad by the grave of alone weeps his father. He asks Sajjad, "Oh Master, what happened here? Why do I find Hussein's grave wet with your tears? Why do I find Hussein's grave wet with your tears? Why do I hear that heads were carried on spears? Why do I hear that heads were carried on spears?" Sajjad takes his hand and weeps. "Let me show you, oh Jabir." Jabir visits Karbala whilst old and blind. Grief grips his heart and sorrow. Jabir visits Karbala whilst old and blind. Grief grips his heart, sorrow torments his mind. He hears a man digging, who does Jabir find? Alone weeps Ahsantum by the grave of alone weeps of his. He speaks to Jabir and his voice is shaken. Jabir overhear the Ansar were taken. Jabir overhear the Ansar were taken, and no one was left to protect the children. Hussein stood crying their names, and none of them would answer. Jabir visits old and blind. Sorrow torments his mind. He hears a man and alone weeps Imam said. Alone weeps Imam Sajjad. His father overhear the woman cry, "Do you hear them? Oh Jabir, here they massacred our Qasim. Oh Jabir, here they massacred our Qasim, a young boy, and the swords towered over him. With armor too big for him, we brought him to his mother. Jabir visits, Jabir. All your voices. Rebella whilst old and blind. And Jabir visits, Jabir visits. Hello, whilst old and blind. Grief grips his mind. He hears a man alone weeps Imam Sajjad. A body looks like Muhammad or Ali. A body looks like Muhammad or Ali. Jabir here, Ali Akbar was killed thirsty. Jabir here, Ali Akbar was killed thirsty, and within his father's arms he passed away. Who brought him water at last? Muhammad and Fatima. Jabir visits, Jabir visits Karbala whilst old and blind. Man's his mind, he hears a man find alone weeps he Sajjad. His father alone, alone weeps he. Did Abbas clench your fingers when he was born? Oh Jabir, here I saw the moon's arms were torn. Oh Jabir, here I saw the moon's arms were torn. Yet only when he lost water he would mourn. With no flag and with no arms, I buried the flag bearer. Jabir visits, Jabir visits Karbala whilst blind. Torments his mind. He hears a man find Sajjad his father alone weeps Imam Sajjad. His father. Oh Jabir, don't ask why I returned in dread. I have returned to return my father's head. I have returned to return my father's head. Oh Jabir, his grave weeps from the blood he's bled. When I buried him I cried. When I buried him he cried. Bring to me Ali Asghar. When I buried him he cried. Bring to me Jabir visits Karbala whilst old and blind. Regrets his heart and sorrow torments his mind. Jabir visits old and blind. Regrets his heart and sorrow torments his mind. He hears a man digging what? Khadim. Here's a man digging. Mind. See Imam Sajjad. Alone weeps Imam Sajjad. Grave of his. Oh Jabir, don't ask why I returned in dread. I have returned to return my father's head. I have returned to return my father's head. Oh Jabir, his grave weeps from the blood he'd bled. When I buried him he cried. Bring to me Ali Asghar. When I buried him he cried. Bring to me Ali. Jabir visits Karbala whilst torments his mind. Jabir visits whilst old and blind. Torments his mind. He hears a man digging. And alone weeps Imam Sajjad. His father alone weeps Imam Sajjad. By the grave of his father alone weeps, alone. by the grave of his father.